cannot believe this shit. Like, they really tried to kidnap me in Africa. Shit happened to me. I know it happens to other people. And I just was blessed enough to get the fuck away.
Hi everyone, welcome back. This is another episode of Grid of the Diaspora, and I'm your host, Nakaira G. And today I want to talk about this topic that I've been seeing for like a couple weeks now. Maybe you guys have heard about it. It's about a Maryland woman who apparently got kidnapped and possibly drugged on her trip to Tunisia. And I want to talk a little bit more about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so just in case you guys have not heard about this story, it's really, really crazy. So, this young woman from Maryland by the name of Jamaica Ivy, she's 31. According to the New York Post, she sat down with journalists and investigators, and it looks like more pieces to this story is coming out. So it says that she was attacked, she was drugged and kidnapped during her vacation. And the hotel name is Penthouse Suites Hotel in Tunisia. And it looks like she was booked there for a week-long trip with her best friend. And so let's look at this video so we can get a little bit more detail.
All right, so when I came out here Friday. Friday night was cool. Saturday night we went out. I'm not a party person, so like an hour into the club, I'm like, I always do this, nothing new. I'm like, all right, I'm going to the hotel. It's hella taxis outside. It's a lot of people out there. So the taxi brings me back to the hotel. I come upstairs. Well, no, I go to the front desk because I needed a key. My key, I don't know where my key was, but I went to the front desk to get a key. So they gave me a key. I come upstairs. Then I'm like, dang it, ain't no tissue. I go back downstairs. I go to the front desk. Y'all, that is the last thing I remember, being at the front desk. The next thing I remember is waking up in the back of a fucking car. I start freaking the fuck out. Like, I'm trying to get out. And once I get out, this guy, this shit is blurry. I thought the front desk, all that shit is blurry. I don't know what woke me up. I don't know what they gave me, what they did to me. I don't know. The last thing I remember is being at the lobby. So, the guy, he get out the car. We're tussling. We fucking fighting. Like, I'm fucking fighting for my life. Like, I'm really like, all I could think about was my fucking kids. Like, man, I gotta get back home to my kids. I'm really fighting for my life. Like, this nigga's punching me. Y'all can see, like, he's trying to telling me, shut up. I was not, like, giving up wasn't an option. Like, I really was fucking fighting for my life. So I managed to get away by the grace of God. I don't even know how I really got away. It's all woods. I just started running. I did not look back. I'm running fast as shit to where I could see cars and lights. I'm running fast as shit. But this shit is blurry. I don't know what they gave me or did to me. So once I get, I finally was able to wave somebody down and get some help. A taxi brought me back to the hotel, right? So, okay, y'all, I'm in the airport. So I'm going to keep talking about it, though, before I forget. So the taxi brings me back to the hotel. So I'm running there. I tell Queen, y'all, I'm with Queen, so just keep up with me. I tell Queen, I'm like, they fucking took me. She telling me I'm yelling out shit, like, I was fighting for my life. Woody. She like, you just was you was in distraught, like you was in shock. You was crying and all that stuff. So, she got onto, she asked in the hotel, y'all, the hotel would not show us no videos. They was not helping us. They did not call the police for me. They did not give a fuck. That's how I know the hotel has something to do with it. Because it just doesn't make sense. So, what they're saying, right? They're trying to say that I never came back to the hotel. Like, once out their words of their mouth, they said I got snatched from the club. For one, how the fuck you know I was at the club? Two, if I got snatched at the club, where in the club I have this purse, I'm recording with this phone in the club. Like, we're having a ball. I got this purse on, and I'm recording this phone. How the fuck did my stuff get back in the room if I never came back? He keep trying to say, oh, y'all, it's just so much. It's just so much.
And she said from that encounter, she doesn't remember, I guess, anything. And she it quote says, I woke up in a situation I never imagined I face, and to this day I'm still processing the trauma and working to gather the facts of what happened. She basically said that she walked to the lobby and she does not remember anything after that except she woke back up and had bruises all over her. I'm kind of like shook by this information, honestly, because when I saw this on social media, I immediately clicked on it and I saw, like, okay, this was a story that was kind of ongoing, and she had already gotten back home. And by the time she had gotten back home, that's when she started to talk about it. And I noticed that, local news stations from where she is in DC brought this information out to light on Fox News. Now, what's really interesting about this situation is that when this story hit social media, I noticed that a lot of people were kind of like, oh, well, she should have known about Tunisia. She should have known about North Africa. She should have known about this area. And people are even comparing it to like how we call sundown towns in America. They're calling that, they're basically saying there are sundown countries in Africa. And I thought that was really interesting because for me, yes, I do know that there are a variety of countries in Africa that you really want to be careful in. And, countries like Libya, Tunisia, and places like that, particularly just because of like information that has come out about how they treat Black Africans, and those countries do have a higher population of Arab people. And so, and then a lot of people were even making speculations about Morocco as well. But I think that there's a difference where just because there's a higher population of Arabs in one country, that doesn't automatically mean that it's dangerous. But I think that particularly with this girl's story saying that, I mean, you can see from the pictures that she was beaten up in some shape, way, or form. I don't believe that she has disclosed any sexual assault, but I'm assuming that probably she has been checked. I'm hoping that she has been, checked and all of that, but she probably doesn't want to disclose like her medical records and things like that. But right now, all we can speculate is that she was potentially kidnapped and drugged. She's assuming that she was taken from the hotel at some point. But because she was unconscious, she's also saying that, she must have been drugged. Real quick, y'all, make sure you download my new ebook. It is a travel planner and journal. I made this about a year and a half ago, and it's really, really cool. There are 10 different entries. So as you are on your travel journeys, make sure you download this ebook. It's only $10 and you can get it on my website today. Yeah, this is scary. And it sounds like, her being vulnerable, her being alone, maybe her best friend was still up in the room and things like that. I think that that's really scary because it definitely sounds like an inside job. It definitely feels like there's more hands involved. When she started describing like a driver, I met this man, and I don't remember anything after saying hi, hello to some person, that's really kind of that's really scary. It says here, hotel employees claimed Ivy had made a friend and left the resort, which left Queen confused due to the language barrier between her friend and the locals. People at the hotel said, "Oh, she made a friend and she left," which also makes me feel uncomfortable and makes me feel like, okay, this must be something that everybody is kind of in cahoots in, collusion. But no, for real, like that's what it sounds like. And I think it's really important that we continue to like talk about them and name these hotels and things like that and make lists of things like this because there's a reason why they keep happening. And I'm in what someone said, I saw a tweet in response to this whole story, and someone was like, they didn't think she was going to come back alive, and I just think that, for so many people who do travel solo, you really have to be careful, but also do as much research as you really can on these countries. Don't just rely on going onto some random website that says the top 10 African countries to go. Don't trust those things. You have to actually ask sources of people. You have to try to figure out, find someone who has possibly been, somebody that is even just from Africa. And with today's technology, I mean, just typing in Tunisia in TikTok, or in Tunisia in Africa in Twitter search engine, like really try to do a lot of like underground research, not just going on Google and saying, what are the top 10 African destinations? Like, that's not research. You have to really like use sources like Reddit, use Facebook groups, go into these Facebook groups, and these they have so many of them. There's like Black women in travel, travel groups, Black women who travel, these Africa groups, women in Africa. Like, utilize those sources like LinkedIn. Facebook is a big one because they have so many different groups that you can utilize. And then just ask like your personal network. And I know for a lot of people, using your personal network can be really difficult because you might not really know anybody from the continent, but I really implore people, like, when we say do your research on these African countries, it's not just getting on Google. Utilize social media you guys use often. You really want to use those apps in a very particular way. Using X and using Facebook, those are two where you can find groups where people are talking about these things all the time. And a lot of times when people report negative situations or things that they want to warn people about, they're going to use apps like Twitter or X and Reddit. And those are usually the websites that people will use when they want to expose something, when they want to talk about something, they want to get something like into the broader scope. So you want to look into those to see, like, is this a country for somebody young, black, a woman, to be going to and traveling to. And I really and I even say that for those of you who do travel to Africa and you're traveling